podcast, too. All right, this is a test recording. Just say a little something into the mic.
It's Franco Harris, the Immaculate Reception, testing.
Welcome to the 1000 Comics Podcast. It's your host, Matt Heath. How are you? How you doing out there, folks? What's up? What's new? What's happening? My guest today, Darren Sechrist. Very excited to have him on the show. I was real hyped to have Darren on because he is one of the people I've known the longest doing stand-up comedies. You know, I've known him from back in the Joker's Wild days, you know. So more with him in a minute, but first I want to talk about a couple things. It's been a little while since my last show, and between now and my last show, I was at a funeral down in New York. My Aunt Vicky died, and you know, I'd like to dedicate this episode to her, and I just want to put my warm thoughts and prayers out to her, and you know, just say a couple words about her, you know. When you live a long, full life and into your 90s, and you know, my mom passed very young, and I'm just glad my mom's got someone to be with up there, you know. And just a little story, you know, right before she died, my aunt, she told me she's never driven a car before, you know. She's never ridden a bike before, you know. And she was a typical New Yorker, you know, like you know, typical New Yorkers don't drive cars, and she never did. And she said she would like to drive a car when she gets to heaven, and it, you know, it actually reminded me of something that a bit, not quite a bit I did on stage. It was almost like more like performance, like art kind of story. I guess it was funny though, about my cousin Mike, who also passed on. My cousin Mike, I had a dream about him one night, and we were both in heaven, and he was driving a car, and I was sitting in the passenger seat. And I'm like, this is what people do in heaven? They just drive cars? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, you know, what about wings? I thought people had wings in heaven. And he goes, yeah, people in heaven, you know, you could have wings, but you gotta rent them. Like rent them like they're bowling shoes. And all of a sudden you just see like a guy, like a big fat angel, like standing in behind a counter, like in a bowling alley, and he's just spraying the wings with disinfectant. That was the dream I had, and yeah, I'm not gonna cry here on the podcast. I don't think that would be couth, you know. But I do want to. I do want to, you know, give credit where credit is due. A lot of people have passed in my family, and makes me very sad. But the comedy has to keep on rolling, right? Buy my album at Tumbleweeds and Niantic, Class Clown Revisited. Buy my books on Amazon.com, please. Scared Out of the Dickens, Renaissance Men, and Pawnbrokers. Type my name into Amazon.com, Matt Heath. All three of my books will pop up. Darren Sechrist on the show today. Known him for a long time. Think I drank too much Little Heaven. the night I recorded Darren. But you know, when old buddies get together and they're having a good time, you might tie on a couple more than you think you're gonna. But you know, he's an old friend of mine. Where you'll hear a story, you're gonna hear a couple stories. So please enjoy my interview with Darren Sechrist. All right, welcome to the 1000 Comics Podcast. I'm sitting here with my guest, Darren Sechrist.
Hello.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah.
What a mic tonight was at the Hungry Tiger, huh?
Wow, we really just went to the mic and then we said those things and now we're here. And we came to your apartment.
Right.
First, we tried to go to a different apartment, which was not your apartment.
You know what? I've only done that once before. I was by myself, and I was like, I'm glad I'm not embarrassing anyone else right now.
Yeah, but now it's just in front of me. But I remember here was the best part was when you're like putting your key in, and I go, "Is this your floor?" You know, just to be sarcastic. You go, "Yeah, it's the top floor." And then I looked, there was like a staircase behind. I was like, "What about those stairs?" You go, "Oh yeah, this isn't my apartment." And then that lady came out.
You know something?
Spit on you. Remember her?
It was an old Italian gypsy woman.
Yeah,
that lives downstairs.
Well, she lived down there 50 years ago, but now it's a ghost.
Are you telling me that I was spit on?
Yes, by
a ghost
yes.
of an old Italian gypsy woman.
Well, gypsy's not the preferred term.
Don't bullshit me, man. You're acting like you've never said that you've gypped.
Never said anything like that.
So have you ever said like, you really gypped me out of that one? You've never said that?
No, maybe I did back, but I've learned. You know, we've got the language has to evolve with us. We have to evolve as people.
Yeah, but
who's this family over here with the picture? Everybody's wearing red jumpers.
Right. Oh, that's my sister and her husband and her kids.
Very nice.
Jacqueline and Jeff. No one's ever commented on
they don't get the kids don't get the red jumpers, just the adults. Right?
You know why you would comment on something like that?
Why would I?
All these other comics very self-centered. You're one of the first father comics I've had on the show.
Really?
Like yeah. So you got a wife, kid. You guys are still together, right?
Yes. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yep.
You're like it's also because I care about you. You know, these other comics, they don't care about you.
But we've known each other a long fucking time, though.
Yeah,
too,
22 years probably.
No, of course not that long.
In comedy.
But honestly, longer than most of the people I have on the show, dude. A lot of the people that come on, do my podcast, they've been doing it 1-2 years. I've known you since I started when I was like 21. It was only
we
like
were both 21. I remember thinking, wow, it's cool how we're both 21 now. It was me and you and TJ Miller. We started together.
Me, man. How old are you?
I'm over 40. That's all you need to know. And I remember we all started out together. You, me, and TJ Miller. And we all said, let's someday one of us will have a podcast, probably Matt, and we'll all come on the podcast. But then TJ, he didn't come on here, did he?
Oh man, you're giving me shit for that one?
No, I just think he was wrong to not to realize the opportunity he had.
It was a good opportunity I was giving him. Like, look at this place you can come to.
Yeah.
I accommodate. I got beer.
Yeah. So I got you off track. 21 you started.
Yeah, and it was only shortly after that. Like,
how many years ago?
So, what, I'm 28 now, so it was about 7 years.
Oh, it must have been, so we started at like the same time? That's pretty weird.
You started about 7 years ago?
Well, I did, but like I had done it when I was younger a little bit.
Where was the first place you did it?
First place I ever did it was in you're going to laugh. You're going to laugh really hard. I'm going to tell you where it is. The first place I ever did it, comedy, you're going to laugh. It was...
Where the fuck you do it?
I can't think of the name of the place. It was, Dick Doherty's Comedy Vault in Boston.
Really?
So, like, I went up there. I had some friends in Boston. I lived, like, in eastern Connecticut.
Where are you originally from?
I grew up in Farmington.
Farmington. Okay.
Yeah, Connecticut. And then so then I went up there.
You first
you want to
tried
hear the story?
it?
And not want to hear the story.
Yeah. You first tried it in Boston, and
Yeah. I just heard you could do it there. So back then there was like no internet or anything. You just called and they're like, yeah, you got to bring 2 friends. I didn't know what a bringer was or anything. So I brought more than 2 friends, and I went up and I was like looking around the room and I'm like, well, it doesn't seem like there are 2 people here for every comedian here. And I soon realized like it was like a mic where they would get people who didn't know better to bring a couple of people. And I did it there. And that was in the 90s.
Now, really?
Yeah.
So what year did you start, bro?
Honestly, I don't remember what year. It was in the 90s. That's
Late
all I can tell you.
90s, mid 90s?
Mid 90s, probably.
Yeah.
And then I stopped. I only did that a few times, and then my father died.
I was born in 91, so
Right.
I was a little kid the first time you went up there. Man.
Yeah. You're still a little kid in a lot of ways. Except physically, your presence in the world. You're much larger than a little kid. So yeah, I did that a couple times, and then I stopped. Like, I had a bad set. Like, so I did okay. Like, I did really well the first time, which I think a lot of people, they do well the first time. That kind of gets them hooked, and I got kind of hooked. And then I did it again, and it didn't go well. Like, I remember they were like, "Hey, who wants to go first tonight?" And I was like, "I'll go first. That sounds fun." And everybody's like, "Ooh, you're taking the bullet." I'm like, "Oh, what does that
Biting
mean?"
the bullet. Yeah.
I didn't know what that meant. And then,
But you also learned it like your first night doing
fast,
comedy. Like
yeah.
a lot of people would be like biting the bullet, like,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, "What the fuck?" And then it's like I realized everyone around me only been doing it like 6 months.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I did it, and then I didn't go well. So I generally did well, and then I had a bad show at one place, and they had it was a showcase that had kind of booked me off of the mic. They're like, "Hey, come to this showcase, come try out." And I did well there. I didn't do well there, and I was like, well, I can never do comedy in Boston again, ever.
Shit.
But I also had other things going on.
So what? I'm assuming there was like a gap between when you first tried it and then when you started doing it.
So I first tried it there. I did it a few times, and I started doing it for real. We lived in New York, late 90s, early 2000s, and I did it there for a while. But I did it really much more intensively. I do it 4 or 5 times a week, whatever. And I only did that for about a year. I didn't really get anywhere. I didn't understand the whole you got to hang out kind of thing. You got to go to things, and I would just be I'm going to go to this mic and I'll do my time. And I didn't understand any of the networking, so I got nowhere. And I also probably wasn't very funny. And then so we decided we were going to have a family. We moved back to Connecticut. And I thought, there's no comedy in Connecticut, so I didn't do it for 10 years. And then I realized, there's mics and stuff in Connecticut, so I started doing it here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and that's when we met at Joker's Wild, I assume.
Yes, so we totally met at Joker's Wild, and you're actually one of the first people of the old Joker's crew.
Yeah.
I've had on the show here, and it's
really?
Honestly, today, thinking about putting you on the show. I was just thinking about those old friggin' the roller coaster booths, as they would call them.
Oh yeah,
it was just that back line of seats, and it was literally it's almost like they were just put in there.
Yeah.
For comedy writers.
Well,
what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I had heard, and this may or may not be true. I heard that a roller coaster crashed into the building. And they just left the seats there, and that's how they ended up there.
How did they put in tables? They just put them all over the roller coaster?
That's a whole other story. I can't get into all
that. Must have been the shittiest wooden roller coaster.
It's not a good roller coaster. That's why it crashed. No, you're right though. It was a weird setup.
Right into Little Italy. Seats. A roller coaster. Why is a roller coaster crashing into Little Italy?
It was in Bristol at the at the Lake Compounds.
And a roller coaster just flung into Little Italy.
Where's that gonna land? And it landed near the pizza place.
It had a garlic homing device on it.
Yeah. Now you made a good point though. It looked like those were put in just so people could write or something.
Yeah, and that's honestly, I think, probably where we had most of our conversations as fucking You know?
Really? You feel like we talked a lot over by the roller coasters?
Yeah, man, because you were always sitting there trying to like intently like figuring out what you wanted to fucking do on
Yeah,
stage.
I'm very focused.
And you've thought of your patented running gag you've had with me since then. When I walked up and I patted you on the back and you said, "What are you, some kind of Hulk?"
You some kind of giant Hulk?
And
that's a good bit we got going. That's a good
You've
gag.
been calling me Hulk for fucking I have no idea how long.
Which is weird because you're wearing a Flash. He's wearing a Flash T-shirt. You know, Flash.
Yeah, which I'm like way too overweight to be the Flash.
No, you're very svelte. You listeners at home can't see this.
When we were sitting
handsome.
Sitting at the comedy show, the comedy mic, there's like, and by the way, you're too fat to do a podcast.
No. First of all, you can't be too fat to do a podcast. You said I should say you're fat. I never said you were. Then once you said that, I said you are fat. Because you wanted to be called fat.
I think we've derailed a little. We got to get back on track.
Okay, old jokers.
Yes.
You and me.
Yeah,
and I was the only one who was ever nice to you. Everybody else was mean. Remember?
Honestly,
that was my angle.
I did
be nice to people.
But honestly, there was quite a bit of a clique. I think the youngest comics definitely had like a clique that kind of would like be like any outsider. It took them a while to warm up. Like you kind of like had to earn. It felt like, as opposed to like the elbow room like today, where it's like a very supportive room. It was kind of like,
is it really supportive?
You had to like kind of like earn some comedy chops at a place like Joker's. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're saying like the youngest comics were at a clique? I feel like there was a certain clique there. I mean, people always say that about that place. I don't know if it was the youngest, but if there's like an established crew of people where you you had to really be in. And I remember you never got into them. They never liked you. I remember they liked me a lot. I remember
in particular Pat Oates liked you a lot because I remember specifically him saying on a podcast, Pat Oates, he said about you, he's like my favorite dry guy. Like he's the best got like the best dry humor. And then he was like, and then he went on to describe you as a wet blanket. And he was he's like a perfect wet blanket.
A dry wet blanket.
And then the fucking, I forget who was talking to him, but he was like, how could you have a dry wet blanket at the same time? And Pat Oates is like, I don't know. But, I don't know. But,
and he destroyed that person for a half an hour, I'm sure. Well, that's a nice. Yeah, he was always really supportive of me, and then for most of the time at Joker's, and then he got really mad at me for a while, and then after that, it all worked out.
He had kind of like that Irish Italian thing with me, where he'd like to publicly humiliate me, but then if we were like the only two left at the bar, he'd be like, "All right, now listen," like that kind of thing.
What would he tell you? Did he give you like life advice or comedy advice?
Comedy advice, always comedy advice. And you know something? I was definitely like too big for my britches back then.
Yeah.
There's
You're fat. That was the problem. According to you, this is your story. I'm just parroting back to you what you said.
You know something?
You shouldn't have worn size 31
You always referred to me as a Hulk every time.
Because you're like 6'7".
You know something? One time I walked in, I was actually dressed real nice, and you turn around and you go, "What are you, some kind of hunk?"
Hunk. Man, that's really funny. I said that? Man, I'm really funny.
I was expecting Hulk.
Yeah,
the whole
I switched it
time.
up. Well, a lot of it's the green skin. That's what'll do it.
Oh man!
And then you smash.
But am I more like Bill Bixby or Lou Ferrigno or Ed Norton?
Oh well now what's the other guy? The guy who does it now, Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. You're more like Mark Ruffalo than like anybody.
Oh, Ed Norton, I think though more is me. I'm a little more. I mean, physically, I probably look a lot more like Mark Ruffalo, but Ed Norton has a certain
cachet, a certain wit to him.
Smartness.
Yeah, that new movie he just made, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing.
But Motherless Brooklyn.
Yes, I want to see that movie.
Book.
You read the book?
Yeah,
the book's
I read
good.
Books. I read a lot of books.
You think I might be able to borrow that book from you?
Well, what I did was I read it on the old Kindle, so you probably couldn't. Also, you probably couldn't.
What do you think I couldn't read?
No,
books?
no, not that book.
I'll fucking listen to it on the audio.
All right,
version.
that's probably the best way to go.
Yeah.
For you.
Oh my God, man!
No,
Are you
I'm
trying
just kidding
to
around,
take
man.
a shot? Honestly, you're one of the wittiest fellows I know. That fucking joke tonight where you said, to the audience, what was the question you said about rhetorical questions? You said, "Don't you understand what a rhetorical question is?"
Yeah.
And then the girl answered.
No.
it,
See, you're butchering it as
Okay.
you are wont to do. I said that was a rhetorical question. You know what a rhetorical question is, don't you? And so you say it in a way so that they shouldn't answer, but they're tempted to answer.
Yeah.
And then they go, yeah. And I go, well, clearly you don't. Because they answered the rhetorical question. That's what's fun about it. I feel like I broke it when I just said it to you, though.
Honestly, like, a lot of people will find that funny and then be like, what is this guy, a fucking science teacher?
Yeah. That's what I'm going for at all times. Hey, did you see, I'm going to forget his name. The guy, he does, like, science and comedy. You know?
Bill Nye?
No. No, he just did it at, he just did it in Hartford.
No.
I'm going to look it up real quick. Phil.
How dare you
stupid
look
crap
something
you
up
said.
on my podcast? Like, we're talking about you, Darren
Yeah.
Sechrist.
No, but the guy. I was hoping to like get in with him, but I didn't realize. Science and comedy. Shane Moss. You know Shane Moss?
No.
Comedian. Anyway, he goes around and does this thing like, and it's like a combination. Like he'll have like professors on and other people to do funny stuff, but it's all like science related.
Okay.
So, what do you think of that?
So just like a bunch of science people goofing around?
No, but it could be a comedian who has stuff about
What
science.
if they blow something up?
Yeah, they blow up a joke. They blow up. I don't know. This is going nowhere.
No, honestly, the only reason I say that is because I was talking to my. You want okay? Well, I'm grabbing.
Well, keep. Wait. So let's talk
I'll just
about
say
you.
what I'm doing right now. I'm grabbing my friend Darren another 2 rows
I just wouldn't refer to me as your friend
because I want 2 rows to send us some free fucking beer already.
Yeah, that's probably gonna happen real soon.
Advertising, you guys, fucking plenty now.
Yeah.
Let's get some free 2 rows over here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Just gonna have a little bit of that one there. Right. So you moved to Florida, remember?
Yeah, I did. But let's not talk about me. I want to go back to the days of Jokers where dude, you remember we did that one show for Kareem Blue and the poster was me shirtless,
Yes.
chugging a bottle of wine.
That was so
you,
great.
Corey Brown, Kareem Blue, and
Yep.
it was at a fucking vineyard.
It was a really fun show too, right? Did we
Yeah.
have a good time?
I had
the
a great
people were
time.
into it?
I think I had too good of a time, though. I definitely overindulged that night. And I think
Yes.
that's why I haven't really worked with Kareem since.
Oh, really?
So,
I don't remember
Kareem,
that.
you ever listen to this? I apologize. I definitely took advantage. Because it was like we could run up a tab, but they were also paying us.
I didn't feel... Well, I don't know how much you used the tab. Did you feel like you drank too much and then went on stage, or you just
It was definitely. It was like afterwards.
I don't know. He has mentioned a lot of times how much he hates you. So, I mean,
He's like, I've been working with him ever since.
Yeah,
We do shows every fucking weekend.
every weekend he says to me, "You know what's cool? You don't overindulge and take advantage." And I say, "I know. I don't pull a Matt Heath." I say, but to defend you. You were on the poster drinking a bottle of wine.
I was definitely
like,
giving that Animal House vibe.
Yeah. You're like, well, this is what they want me to do, right?
It was like giving in to hedonism almost.
Yeah. That was really early on too. Like we were. Both
I've given in to hedonism plenty of times since then. Sir.
Yeah. So you moved down to Florida. Then what happened?
Yeah, we're talking about you, bro.
I know, but I mean. How much
just admit that you missed me and you want to talk about me for a while.
I would walk around when you were here and be like, is there anybody I can call a Hulk or a hunk?
Anyways, I moved to Florida. I was in Florida for 2 years. I was teaching high school English down there. Then
Why
I moved
did you
back
move there?
to teach high school English.
But there's high school English in Connecticut.
It's easier to get a teaching degree now.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Like to get like
Teaching certificate, yeah.
And did you think, like, were you thinking, like, oh, I'll go down there, I'll do the teaching thing, but I'll also keep doing comedy?
Yeah, of course. Which is probably a bad thing in retrospect. Like, maybe I shouldn't have tried to juggle the two. Maybe I should have focused on, just the teaching career and, put the comedy on the back burner. But at the same time, how could I be me? I feel like it was right, because it was right after I got laid off as a teacher. I started this podcast.
Oh, really? You got laid off in Florida?
Yeah.
And then you started this?
I started this podcast right after that. Right after I got laid off, actually.
Who was your first guest?
This fellow goes by the stage name Hennessy Williams.
That sounds familiar. Is he,
He's a Florida comic.
Florida? Okay. I have no idea who that is. But, no, the name sounds familiar. Does he come up here at all or anything?
He should.
Yeah.
He should come up here more often because he's got I follow him on social media still, and he's got a great following in Florida. He does like a lot of shows at the Improv down there. He's definitely got like something going for him where it's like, if he traveled a little more, definitely get his name out there. You know what I mean?
I guess. I don't know. You ever run into any Connecticut comics down there?
Connecticut comics down there. Maybe one.
Who?
I would run into more people in the audience. People would just like randomly show up just to see. Like, I heard you did comedy down here. I was in Florida, so, and that was like. That was such a nice treat, though, It's like you move somewhere so far away, and then people are just like, oh, like, I'm in the same area? Like, let me go see what he's doing down here now, you know?
Yeah.
It's definitely like because it's like, it feels like they took such a longer trip, even though they're probably close.
They were there anyway.
You know what I mean?
They didn't come to see you.
They didn't fly all the way down.
They probably didn't.
To Florida, it just happened to be a coincidence.
They wouldn't come to your bringer like 10 minutes away from their house. They're not coming.
But the bringers. When was the last time you done a bringer?
Oh man, I mean, probably pretty early on. I did one at Joker's pretty early on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was I forget who put it on. Danny Mahar. Is that how you say it? Danny Mahar.
Danny Mahar.
You remember that guy?
No. I can't say I do, but like I bet if I saw the face, I'd probably recognize him. Yeah.
So he put on a bringer. Yeah, I don't know. Like I usually don't. Those are. I mean, I don't know if they. I have mixed feelings about that.
You know something? I have my honest opinion about bringers is that like I feel like there's certain places where comics have to earn their place. And I think if it's like your first time in a room, yeah, make it a bringer because you got to show them that you're worth something. Mm-hmm. Anytime after that, it should be like a showcase, like something where it's like, it's like there's no. I don't think you should be forced to be like this person's my person, because it's like a lot of times it's like you do comedies at like open mics and like just like bar showcases and shit like that. People come from all over like just to see fucking everybody,
Right.
Dude, we're such a like
Well, I mean, the thing is, you moved to Florida,
right,
and then did you feel like you could get up on stage there easier than you could in Connecticut, or was it harder?
There's more of a scene down there. There's a lot more people that do it, so there's a lot more opportunity. Yeah.
Which part?
What do you mean, which part?
Were you in Tampa?
Oh, I was in South Florida, so most of the rooms I would do were in Boca Raton, Delray, Lake Worth.
I don't know, right? I got no familiarity with any of that.
You know what was weird? Right before I left Florida, I was watching this fucking movie with Will Ferrell, right?
Yeah, you and Will Ferrell watching a movie. Right? Okay.
You know, the Bewitched. Did you ever see that one? It's really fucking corny, right?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I saw like a couple minutes of it.
But at the same time, there was this like...
What was his name in the movie?
His name was Dick Sargent. I don't know.
Yeah, what was Dick Sargent's name in Bewitched?
Darren.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking A. I didn't even think about it. You know, I'm. Here's the thing. I have like such an obsession with the names of the actors on that show, just because it's like they traded one dick for another.
They just
traded one dick for another.
Well,
man.
I mean, that's a little low
Darrens are very replaceable.
Yeah, that's the message I took from it as well.
Were you angry about that?
No, it's just that, like, that used to be, like, people would always say that to me, like, oh, Darren, like, Bewitched, ding-a-ding-ding, you know, whatever, and
you'd be like, I was replaced. I was replaced. So.
Yeah.
Dude, I never liked Dick Sargent as much as I like Dick York.
I'm trying to remember which one was which. Okay.
Dick York was the first one.
Who was first?
Dick York was first, and Dick Sargent was only in, like, the last couple of seasons, I guess.
Yeah. And then they changed it back. No, they didn't.
No, they never did. Well, you know what? It was like it
was just like Roseanne.
I don't want to get on Roseanne. Becky. Hold on. What I wanted to say about the names on that show was Dick York and Dick Sargent, and then the name of the other actress, the one that plays the mother-in-law, is Agnes Moorehead.
What?
Her last name is Moorehead,
which is a common last name.
When both of the guys on the show were named Dick?
I don't follow. All right, moving on. All right, so you're watching a movie before you leave Florida.
I'm watching Bewitched.
Yeah.
The one with Will Ferrell. And you know what happens is there's this whole scene where he is like acting like an asshole, and then she rewinds time, and he's acting like a nice guy, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And when he's acting like an asshole, he goes, "I would rather be doing dinner theater in Boca Raton, Florida, than doing this movie." And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, I'm doing shows in Boca Raton, Florida. Like that's
it's not even dinner theater. I'm below dinner theater at this point. Yeah. And then you moved.
And then I moved right after that. And I assume it was due to a bewitched kind of thing. Like a woman cast her spell on me. Not like a white woman, though. More like it was definitely like a Caribbean kind of flavor spell.
Oh. Now, what about this? What if you moved here? Have you seen Will Ferrell's latest movie?
Which one?
I forget what it's called, but he talks about, like, in it he says, I would rather be doing dinner theater in Manchester, Connecticut than doing this movie. Isn't that weird? What a weird thing for him to say.
Be like, does he wish he was me? But honestly, you find out a lot of these celebrities, they miss the ambiguity of, not being famous.
How do you mean?
You know, like, I don't know, like,
Ed Helms?
Do you think, do I think Ed Helms misses the...
I don't know what you mean by it, so I'll let you
finish. Ed Helms, I don't think, even if he, he is pretty famous, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think Ed Helms is the type of guy who could walk into, like, a restaurant and, like, everyone's, like, fucking bothering him because he's Ed Helms. You know what I mean? Where it's, like, somebody like, I don't know, like, Chris Rock or fucking, like, I don't know, like... You have no, like,
What's the ambiguity of being famous, though? What are you saying? Like, they don't know, they don't realize how weird it is that they're famous, or?
Yeah, because being famous is pretty fucking weird, right?
It is weird. I will tell you, from my experience, very weird. Have you ever been recognized for doing comedy?
Yeah.
Really?
Every so often, yeah.
Yeah. I had one guy I was at a sandwich shop, and it was like a couple years ago, and he goes, "Oh, hey, do you do comedy at Joker's Wild?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, yeah, I saw you there." He was like, and he didn't say like I was funny.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything, and he was like, "Do you want pickles?" Like that was the end of the conversation. Just like he remembered me, didn't particularly like me.
So you want pickles?
Yeah, pickles.
Did you get pickles?
I got pickles, extra. I love pickles.
You know what I like?
Cheese. I like cream cheese.
You know what I was like? Thinking that today, I was like, I got like some tuna in here, but like.
Tuna. Hey, big tuna.
But
remember The Office?
Oh my God.
Ed Helms.
Yo, just because you kind of look like Ed Helms doesn't mean
you're the one who's always saying
Helms.
like, oh yeah, you remind me of Ed Helms. So you're the only one. You and like several other people have said that.
What the fuck? I was trying to tell you about how I was thinking about buying some sweet gherkins today, and you interrupted me with this fucking.
Oh really?
Ed Helms
I don't.
bullshit.
Sweet pickles, very bad.
With the tuna though.
Dill.
Sweet pickles with the tuna.
I don't eat tuna. I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat any kind of fish or meat, any of that. I'm better than you. That's all I'm saying.
Now, when did that start? When did you become a vegetarian?
Like 20 years ago.
Really?
When you were born, I said, I'm going to become a vegetarian.
While this child keeps growing fatter.
No, not fat. I don't think
it becomes the fat man that he is today.
No, just a giant bulk of comedy.
A vegetarian.
Now, what is a Broadway comedy club? What's that about?
Oh my God! The fact that you brought that up, dude. That honestly, I don't even know why I hang that there. It reminds me of like a horrible part of my comedy career, which was as a comedy barker on the streets of Manhattan.
I've done that. I did that a while ago.
Stop scratching the mic, man.
I mean, that's fine. This is normal, right?
So you're going to be like, what the fuck is that? Broadway Comedy Club. It was something I did for a while. I just bark, like I would stand in front of like, fucking touristy spots and try to sell comedy tickets.
Would you hand out a thing that said, tonight on the show, Chris Rock, Jerry Seinfeld?
Yeah, there's like a menu, and they were like, they would always, how they trained me to do it, they were like, try to like make it seem like
it's really good or something?
Yeah.
But would you have a little flyer to hand the people?
Yeah.
Did it say Chris Rock's on the show?
Why are you going through my stuff?
I don't know, man. Look at this. You got a drill.
Sit down, bro. You
right,
done with your beer yet?
No.
You need another beer?
No, I do not. Look at this. Welcome back, Cotter. You ever watch that show?
Yeah.
You have?
I have watched.
It's like before your time.
It is before my time, but you know something? Somebody turned me onto it when I was teaching, because I would
of Horseshack.
Well, I would talk about how like chaotic teaching was, and it was like. It's like an episode of Welcome Back, Kotter. Like you're always like trying to like, even though like the kids are always dealing with their own bullshit, like your message would always like come through to them at the end. And I'm like, really? So I started like binge watching it a little bit, and
you ever see that
whole
series? Yeah. So Horseshack, you remember Horseshack?
Horseshack, yeah.
He was
which
from
one was
Connecticut.
Which one was Horseshack? He was the cab driver's son. The one that kind of talked like this, yeah.
He was like the little mousy guy,
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. He went to University of Connecticut.
You know, somebody told me which one was that had the last name Epstein on the show?
The guy on the far left there, Epstein.
Yeah.
His name was Juan Epstein.
Now, so I was talking to somebody about Epstein. I'm like, oh yeah, so what do you think of this whole Epstein situation? And she thought I was talking to her about Welcome Back, Kotter.
What? Yeah, that's someone who's that person been in a coma. Were you at some sort of ward?
I don't know. I think she's a sweet woman that comes to the store I work at. Like,
what kind of store
her fingers are definitely not on the pulse though.
No. Hey, what do you think of Epstein?
Maybe,
I think his mother did write the notes.
Maybe she's clever though. Maybe she said that because like she was making a joke. Like, she joked. She knew I liked Welcome Back, Kotter. She's that smart.
I remember that. Like you mentioned it like months earlier.
Women can do that. You ever notice how women are intuitive like that? They can just read shit.
I make no generalizations about women. I know you like to.
Oh, no. So you're going to...
So are you dating a lady now?
I don't want to talk about my love life on this, man. Like,
right.
Just like you told me earlier, don't ask about your sex life, which I don't know why.
I mean, there was a long list.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but now that
seems like something you'd ask about. Weirdo. Creep.
Like what the fuck am I, Howard Stern? I mean, like, have you ever stuck your dick in anything unordinary?
Very weird of you to even say it out loud like that. Now, so remember we were at the open mic?
Yep.
What do you think of the Riff Bowl?
The Riff Bowl. It's a relatively new idea that Brian Barganier and his girlfriend Kate have kind of brought to the table there.
Yes, very well said.
And I like it because the Hungry Tiger's a fucking tough room.
Yeah. Yeah, that adds a little levity to it. It makes it a little bit more like, hey, we're all just kind of goofing around.
Well, it's a traditionally a music place. That place has music every night of the week. And I've learned this, like, especially living a couple blocks from there now.
Yeah.
Because I go there every so often, and it's like music every night. And then, like, comedy, it's like...
now, do you perform there? Do you perform music there?
No, I just go there.
Do you play music?
That's where I go to unwind after work and have a couple beers and relax.
What kind of store?
I work at a pawn shop.
Ooh. You sell pawns?
Yeah, like...
very specific.
We don't sell kings or queens. It's only pawns.
I don't do a lot of these.
What do you do for a living in real life, bro?
I'm an editor.
And
you just told me Brian?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say you've told me this
Life
before.
of Brian?
You're an editor. You used to do a lot of material about being.
Oh yeah, I had a part of my. That used to be sort of my closer was about being an editor, an encyclopedia editor.
Right.
Yeah.
I enlighten me on what the joke was again. Is it okay to...
The joke, yeah, it's fine. The joke was just about like how being an encyclopedia editor, you tell people that, and it was like, you might as well just be like telling them you're a cobbler or something because people just assume they don't exist anymore. The joke was very, very funny.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get the dry and wet blanket vibe. That joke is like,
so like it was
there
a really
it
good
is.
joke, like, and then it was about how like I feel like I'm someone's alternate personality that they made up like in the 80s or 90s, and then they just forgot to update it for the times. Like, I have an alternate personality. He's an encyclopedia editor, and then like they just kept it for 20 years or whatever. No,
it's got.
And then there's like an end to it, which I'm not going to tell you because I might use that joke again. And if all of your thousands and millions of listeners,
you're not even going to give us the punchline. The people got to come out to see you.
That's right.
At like the Hungry Tiger shit, like, and then you probably won't even do the joke because it's not even a part of your repertoire anymore.
I keep adding. You know what I do? I keep writing new jokes. That's why I do it.
I keep writing new jokes as well. The new jokes don't fucking ever like work as nearly as well as the classics, though.
It's true. Like, well, I mean, that's part of that's insecurity. Part of that's just your comfort level with the jokes. Like, if you're comfortable with the joke, it's going to do better. And I mean, it's part of the challenge, man. But are you ask yourself this: are you doing comedy because you want to do something safe and comfortable? No,
absolutely.
You're doing something because you want to do something that's exciting and like.
I'm a coward.
On edge.
I'm a coward Hulk.
Yeah, you're like a Hulk who's a coward. Like imagine a giant Hulk and he's still like, and he's still afraid of everybody. I don't do a lot of podcasts. This is, I mean, you're really lucky to have me.
You're killing me with this shit. I'm a coward.
Is this helping when I do this?
You know something? How dare you? You're basically telling me I haven't made it yet.
No, you're a huge success. But like me, how long have we been doing this? 3 hours?
No, we got about 20 minutes left.
Oh, all right.
Was this torture for you?
No, it's really fun. When does this air?
I don't know. Tomorrow.
Sundays at 9?
Sundays at 9. That'd be a good time slot.
Yeah. What is a podcast?
Do you still not know what a podcast is?
No, I do.
What do you listen to them often?
I listen to a couple like true crime podcasts.
Which one do you like?
Well, I like one called Swindled, which is I don't like the violent ones. Like this is like people are like they got scams going and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a couple fictional ones I really like.
Fictional ones.
You
know what? I want to dive into fictional ones, but I feel like I would be like too much of an escape from reality for me. Like especially because what I do is I listen to them while I'm driving deliveries, and I'm like. I need to like be like grounded in reality, listening to just real conversation. Because if I get involved in some fucking story, I'm just gonna end up in an accident, you know?
No, you just drive normal, like you're in the real world. You don't hit anything, and then you listen to the story, which is separate from what you're doing.
You're right. I mean, I do listen to Stephen King books occasionally.
That's audio. Yeah, I never. There's one called The Truth, and it's like a short. Each one's a short story. It's like, and it's pretty good.
Right.
Yeah. I like. I used to like a lot of comedy ones, but after a while, it's just like, okay, I get it. Like this is what it's like being a professional comedian, and this is
right. But it's different.
A little bit
if it's somebody interviewing somebody every time, it's like the guest. It's like almost like the guest got to be good.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you listen to?
I listen to Maron and Conan O'Brien mostly.
Oh, Conan O'Brien's really good. Maron is good too. I mean, I just haven't listened to him as much.
I also like Bill Burr.
Joe Rogan. I bet you're a big Joe Rogan fan.
Honestly,
Joe Rogan, he's so smart. I bet you say that a lot.
Honestly, I do like him, but it's like for me, he's got to be interviewing somebody I want to like learn more about because he gets into this like tangent where it's like he'll be projecting his own like views on like fucking I don't know like UFC fighting and all that kind of bullshit on the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You disagree with him about UFC stuff.
I mean, it's just not my world. You know what I mean? Or it's like somebody like Bill Burr. It's like it's like I could listen to him, but I can't listen to like his old shit because it's like what's relevant is like what he's talking about. You know what I mean?
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr, yeah.
Does he interview people? I haven't listened to his podcast.
No, once in a while he'll have somebody on, but it's usually just him talking about what's going on in the news. I kind of want to hear what he has to say. This week and all with because he's a helicopter pilot and all, and I want to hear what he has to say about Kobe.
Kobe beef.
What's that?
Now, what's going on? What happened? Something with helicopters happened?
Kobe Bryant, man. I don't want to make a big joke about it. It's just what's going on at the moment. Yeah.
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google it real quick.
What do you think of these comedians making jokes about it online?
I don't know, man. It's I don't know. A lot of shock. I don't like shock humor. I don't think shock humor. Shock for the sake of shock.
But I don't know. When you make a joke immediately after somebody dies, it's almost like you're asking for the attention of like you're pissed to piss somebody off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like to do that kind of shit.
Yeah. Except when you did that joke about Betty White.
Betty White's still alive, right?
Yeah. But you were like, I wish she was dead so I could do a joke about her. That was really mean.
B. Arthur's not still alive, right?
No, B. Arthur is.
You ever hear my B. Arthur impression?
No.
This is my
really?
Let's hold on.
Okay.
This is my B. Arthur impression, real quick. Hey, it's me, B. Arthur.
That's not very good. That's very bad. It plays on stereotypes, and you sound like Fred Flintstone. And you look like Fred Flintstone. Only
Italian.
Yeah, only not as, well dressed. Didn't you do a Fred Flintstone joke?
I did. You know something? The fact that you remember that's the first joke I ever did on stage.
Yeah, I remember thinking
was my joke.
You know what I remember about it? I was thinking, like, this sounds like the first joke someone ever did on stage when I heard it.
Do you want to hear it or not?
Yeah, I do.
The first joke I ever did on stage was like if Fred Flintstone was doing a modern commercial with Barney Rubble.
Yeah.
Like, he would have diabetes. So it's like, I got diabetes, Bon.
Bon? He'd call him Barney. He'd like to call him Bon.
The doctor says I can't have any more Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah. Then what happened?
Barney's like, come on, Fred. Just have some. He said, the doctor's going to take my foot off.
Oh.
I won't be able to drive anymore.
Oh, because his feet. That'd be true in a regular car, though, right?
I mean, I think you could drive with 1 foot with a regular car.
But I see where you're going with that. What about, did you do a Jetsons joke?
I did. Let's not talk about me. I want to talk about your fucking
That was a Jetsons joke, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of screaming involved in that.
No, like he fell, right?
Yeah, I've done it before on the fucking podcast. The people don't need to hear.
Who's your favorite guest on the podcast? Now put me out.
You,
put me out.
You are my favorite guest by far.
Who's second?
I don't like to. Honestly,
TJ Miller. Right?
Wow, are you gonna bring that up again?
No, I just thought I remembered you had him on.
I tried to get him on, and he declined.
I know. What are you gonna do? No, but give me it doesn't have to be your favorite because that'd be mean. I like this guy better. Well, give me a highlight. Who's a good guest?
I don't know. One that comes to mind because somebody was just asking me about Think Floyd today,
yeah,
because he was actually involved in talking about the whole Kobe thing. He's dead against these comics talking shit about Kobe Bryant, but
he doesn't like comics he's making a name for themselves by talking about other famous people.
Right, but when I went down to interview him, he's one of the very few people that I've didn't do at my own living situation. I invite people to over. He said, "Do you want to come to the Connecticut Comedy Festival to interview?" And I thought it was kind of a cool idea because it kind of got me into that whole festival.
When was that down in Fairfield?
Yeah. Where you weren't a part of that festival?
No, it wasn't. No.
What kind of competitions have you been involved in?
I did comics a couple times, and then I did one that was Fairfield Comedy Club had one. I don't know if it was exactly them, but it was in Norwalk. I've never done well in competitions. Never done well. I always go out in the first round or whatever.
Really?
I got to the second round one time in comics.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that like? The one where I
I moved on.
Honestly, I've never moved up
in
a competition before.
Yeah, it's hard. Comedy is so competitive already.
Yeah.
That when it's a contest and then
I find myself I get more nervous in front of a competitive kind of thing. It's just, I don't see it as a competition. I see it as an art. You know what I mean?
Not me. I see it as a competition. If you succeed, I lose. That's how I see it. If anybody else does well, it makes me unhappy.
Really?
No, but you're right. I mean, you're right. It should be more of an art. And that's why it's really hard in competitions. Because, if you lose, you want to be competitions are stupid. But, that's because you lost. That's half the reason.
It's so true, though. But at the same time, with comedy is completely different because, if you're an athlete,
yeah,
and you you get into a lot of these competitions, and you lose.
Yeah.
But like you're gonna end up quitting. Like if you keep which like with comedy, if you just find a different avenue to go down with it that doesn't involve competitions, you're gonna find.
Well, and like comedy is like kind of like gymnastics, where it's like you do whatever you're gonna do, and then people are like, "Yeah, that was a 9.5." And you're like, "Well, I felt like that was, it's very subjective." Unlike like where basketball, it's like you had 100 points and they had 95. You won the game.
You're saying like comedy is more like also like dance competitions are like that too, like
No, it's not like that. The thing you're saying is dumb. The thing I said was very.
But no,
smart.
I honestly there is but I feel like there's definitely where with comedy,
mm-hmm.
and especially if it's like judges are the ones. Sometimes it's like the audience will be like, oh, whatever the audience is loudest. That's like the best type of competition. Where it's like judges, on the other hand, where it's like they already know who they're picking, like in the fucking beginning.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's a good excuse for us losers to say. I don't know.
But at the same time, it's like comedy is like nice guys finish last.
Last. First.
But at the same time, it was like they finish last, but they're going to have more to show for it by the end.
I doubt that. I think they're going to be sad.
You think, okay, you're right. I mean, Conan O'Brien, like he said when he lost the Tonight Show, he said something like, his last episode of the Tonight Show, he said, just be nice to everyone.
Yeah.
And this like business
is why
will treat
I'm
you
losing
well.
the Tonight Show now.
But at the same time, he's still Conan O'Brien.
He is. Well, have you listened to all of his podcasts?
Not all of them.
Most of them?
There are quite a few.
They're good, right?
But at the same time, his show on TV isn't as like what it used to be,
I haven't watched the show in a long time. But not because of it. I don't know. I just,
Podcasts are just better.
Yeah. I have time while driving and stuff.
Yeah, true. What, you would commute a lot? A long time?
I got like an hour commute, and then like I drive to all the comedy
You can't
shows,
edit.
so
You can't edit from home.
I suppose I could. Sometimes I do, but mostly I go in.
Yeah.
It's good to have like interaction.
What's a big office building? You sit in a cubicle?
Huge, yeah, I sit in. Actually, well, I mean, at different points in my career, I have sat in a cubicle. Currently, I sit in an office.
Nice.
Whatever, man.
A nice office.
It's a fine office. It's bigger than your apartment or whatever. No, it's fine. It's a normal office.
No, I'm sure it's a nice office. I just picture it like a young Darren Sechrist sitting in his cubicle with like long hair, and you're like, fuck the man. And there's like a poster of Farrah Fawcett on the wall and shit.
How old do you think I am exactly? That's what I'd like to know right now. Do you think I'm 65? And I would always say, I'm pro the man. Go man, I'd say.
And that's how you get your job.
Yeah, I'd be like, you're right, sir. Good point, I'd always say. I don't know.
I don't do that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, clearly. What about teaching? Are you going to get back into teaching?
Come on, man. This isn't about me. This is about you.
I keep making it about you.
I
just want you to straighten up and get your life together.
Oh, my God. This is what he always tells me when he sees me, folks.
I care about you. I want you to do well.
Here it
have a lot of promise.
Before he said we weren't...
you got to apply yourself, Heath. Apply yourself.
What is it that I'm not doing that's disappointing you?
I don't know. The comedy, how often do you do comedy?
2-3 times a week?
Yeah, no you don't. Once a week you do it. You go to your job.
Yeah.
You don't teach. Why don't you teach? Get back into teaching. Get a teaching degree. Teach some classes.
What do I
influence the youth of America?
What do I got that's worth teaching, man?
Get married. I don't know.
I feel like I'm not a great influence on the youth.
accurate, but you could be. Like, if you changed everything about you, you could be really good. I don't do a lot of podcasts.
But you know something? You're really giving me a lot of shit.
No.
You're a father. I'm sure. How old's your kid now?
I don't really want to talk about that.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay, man. No, it's just we'll talk. We'll talk about other things. Let's get back to you, Matt.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah. No, that's my personal life.
Okay.
It's like Jesse Eisenberg said on Conan O'Brien recently.
What did he say?
He said, "I don't want to talk about Darren Sechrist's family life." I assumed you listened to that one and you'd know what I was talking about. No, he said he lives somewhere between Indiana and New York. That's all he would say about his personal life.
Really?
Yeah. I guess he said he was married and stuff, but he didn't get into any details. It's separate, man. A lot of comedians, and this is a chance to get to know each other here. A lot of comedians, it's very much about like their personal experience. And then some comedians just about the jokes. And me, it's about the jokes. It's about my, I don't get like, it's not confessional. It's just, I like jokes. I like telling funny stories. Some of it's a little personal.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to get you to confess anything. I just thought you made it something you want to talk about.
That's a type of comedy where you're very confessional, right?
Right.
So I do have a daughter, and that's all I really want to say about it. I have a joke. I have some jokes about having a daughter. Okay. That's all I want to say about it.
I'm sure.
I think of you as a son.
What?
Well, I mean, as like an old nephew, like an elderly nephew, like a nephew. You're like, this doesn't make sense. That's what I think of you as.
Is that okay? All right.
Yeah. So only because your father comes to me and says, "Straighten this kid out."
You're like, I don't want to talk to this guy about my kids, and I also wouldn't let him around my kids.
Yeah,
but I think of you as a nephew.
Yeah, that kind of nephew. Black sheep of the family kind of thing.
He lives up in some 4-story walk-up in Manchester.
Even though he thinks it's a 3-story walk-up? When I lived in New York, we lived in it was a 4-story walk-up. This was terrible. So it was like a 4-story walk-up, but so if you came to the building, it was a U-shaped building, kind of like this one, right?
All right.
If you came to it from the outside of the building, you had to go down a flight of stairs and then go up a flight of stairs before you got to the 4 stories. So it's really like a 5-story walk-up.
Oh, that's terrible. The back way, and when it's like a little warmer, I like to use the back way better here because you go up one flight up front, and then you only have to go up 3 flights in the back.
Yeah. This is uninteresting to anybody. What's the temperature in here? It's like 100 degrees in here.
You know something? I opened the window and it's the winter time. I thought that.
How do you have so many sinks? You guys hear that?
We're actually winding down.
No!
The 1000 Comics podcast is coming to an end for tonight's show. But
tell me about this before we go. Rich Voss, is he your favorite comedian?
I like him. He autographed that CD for me, so I thought it was worthy to go up.
What about Basketball Jones?
That's a great Cheech and Chong song.
Jones! I just put it on the CD player. That's what you just heard.
I read in Tommy Chong's autobiography.
Yeah.
That song, Cheech wrote it when Jack Nicholson was driving both Cheech and Chong to a Lakers game.
Yeah.
And Jack Nicholson started driving.
What if he was driving him to a baseball game and they wrote Basketball Jones?
Well, listen, he starts driving on the wrong side of the highway.
Oh, no.
To get to the gate, because the traffic is too much on one side, so he just starts driving on the wrong side of the highway.
Yeah.
To get there faster.
That doesn't sound like Jack Nicholson.
It was pretty crazy, right? And Cheech is so nervous, he just starts singing in the back, I got the Basketball Jones, I got the Basketball Jones.
I can dunk with my eyebrow. Wasn't it something like that?
So, I actually really like that song.
Now you've got something up here. Steve Martin.
Yeah.
George Carlin.
George Carlin. Those guys are like my heroes, man. Steve Martin and George Carlin.
What about Welcome Back, Kotter? What about that guy?
Definitely. That's a lunchbox where I keep party favors.
Now he was like, okay, whatever. He was I believe he was a comic, right?
Yeah.
And this was like a vehicle for him.
Well, he was great in the. I forget the name of that comedian, the guy that played Cotter. But he was great in like the roasts, like those Dean Martin roasts back in the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Those are on like on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that's
you got
you
that?
know what it is?
Yeah.
It's Sammy Davis Jr. That's who played Cotter.
Well, I think you're a little confused because he also had a mustache.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, same guy. What about okay, so who's your favorite comedian?
George Carlin.
Yeah, besides me. I put myself out of it. Carlin, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really great. No,
who's your favorite?
Brian Regan, I'd have to say.
Brian Regan?
Yeah, Regan's
you know
something?
Brian Regan, I've always been a Brian Regan skeptic because he's he is truly now the last clean comic.
Before me.
No, that's like ultra successful without any fucking skeletons in his closet.
What about this? Have you considered how wrong you might be? I'm gonna blow your mind.
Who?
Jim Gaffigan.
Jim Gaffigan's not all the way clean though.
Yeah, he's clean though.
He's not.
What if I keep saying he is?
You ever watch this cartoon series Pale Force? There's some weird
Yeah, but as a comic, he's clean. Yeah. All right, I'll throw another name at you, and you're gonna punch yourself in the face when I say this name. Nate Bargatze. Have you heard Nate Bargatze?
I don't even know who that is. All right,
that's me sighing.
First, I
listen to Nate Bargatze.
Before we get off,
Nate Bargatze is this generation's clean comic.
I think Darren Sechrist is this generation.
Wish.
But you're not a clean comic, though.
What about this name?
There's some undertones.
Gary Goldman.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. Before we cut off the mics and we part ways and we don't see each other for another 10 years.
What do you mean undertones? That's not what clean comic means, by the way. Clean comic means you don't swear, you don't get explicit. That's all it means.
You ever watch that cartoon series Gaffigan made with Conan? Pale Force?
No, we're talking about me now. Me. It's about me. You said I have undertones.
Yeah, but...
Defend yourself. What do you mean? It's
okay.
You can talk about dark stuff and still be a clean comic.
It's
a weird bunch of rules. Yeah.
You're the biggest family man in comedy. I'm sorry if I offended you.
All right. That's all I wanted.
You could be like...
What about Gary Goldman?
Just don't write any self-help books because I think it's very self-indulgent. The people that consider themselves clean comics.
He doesn't like Gary Goldman. He thinks he's a better person.
I didn't even know he wrote self-help books.
No, he didn't, but his last special was very about
self-help,
taking care of yourself and like mental health issues and stuff.
Not taking care of yourself.
So wait, so who are you saying? Who are you referring to?
I'm saying not taking care of yourself is the best road to go down when it comes to comedy.
You know, what about Bob Newhart? You ever think about that guy? He's still out there killing it.
Bob Newhart was buddies with Rickles, and if you caught Newhart on a bad day, he would just roast you like Rickles would.
No, that's not how you... You can be friends with comics who... It's not who you're friends with. It's what you actually do on stage. I'm making hand gestures. This is going to keep going for a while.
Before we get off on the mic here, I want to ask you if you got anything to promote. Anything you want people to check out.
I do a show at Reverie Brewing. Reverie Brewing. It's very hard to say.
Reverie Brewing.
Newtown. Every month or so.
Do you have the date of the next one?
No, we're not sure yet.
All right.
I'm gonna be. Oh no! Wait a minute. I'm gonna be at Best Video in Hamden, February 22nd.
You know, I didn't realize they still did shows there.
They do.
I did that show and I went through a horrible breakup, right after doing a Best Video show.
Let's talk about that. When? How long ago?
This was right before I moved to Florida, pretty much.
Oh.
No, it might have been it was about a year before that. This girl, I don't know. I guess we'll leave her name out of it, but it was the girl that I met at Joker's, man. We were together
Amy Schumer. Remember when you were dating Amy Schumer?
Amy Schumer never came into Joker's, but you know who did one time was Lisa Lampanelli. You remember that? Were you there that night?
Yeah. She's Connecticut legend.
Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, that girl, you said you wanted to talk about it, and you just...
No, I want to hear it.
Wow, she just tore my heart out, stepped on it. Anyways, I'm way past that.
I could tell. Maybe you should take some responsibility for your part.
Honestly, it's because you brought up best video. I haven't done a show there. I only did a show there once, and it was like the whole memory just came fucking flooding back.
Who was booking it at the time? Do you remember?
Richard Sear.
Oh, okay.
Who does it now?
I think Stosh.
Stosh does best video now?
Yeah.
Stosh has been on the podcast, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Good
Stosh
guy.
Makita, check him out.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up. Is there anything else you want to promote, put out there? Say hi to?
No, I just want to keep talking about the stuff in your house.
All right.
What about Seinfeld? He's clean. He's still killing it.
But
you got a Seinfeld hat right there.
All right. Well, we could debate if Seinfeld's clean or not all fucking night. So I think we'll just wrap it up there. Thank you for listening to the 1000 Comics podcast. Thank you for being here, Darren.
I got more stuff to talk about.
Darren Sechrist, everybody.